Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 76. Thank you for joining us for Black Entrepreneur Experience. This is where we shine the light on the most successful Black entrepreneurs in the world. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards, and today I am so honored to have with us Kalimah McKeaver. She's 13 years old and she's CEO of Dinkra Stylez LLC, and she also calls herself the Kid Griot. Kalimah, welcome to Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You know what? I have given our audience a very brief bio about you. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with us what you'd like us to know about yourself and your business?
Well, my name is Kalimah, as you stated. I am 13 years old. I am the founder, CEO, and creative director of Dinkra Stylez. And Dinkra Stylez is a craft design that promotes literacy about African heritage through the creation of fun, engaging, and colorful materials and products that are all handcrafted and sculpted by me.
You mentioned your title is the Kid Griot. Why don't you tell us where that came from and why did you pick that as your business title?
It was actually a tweak that I did to an original title, which is just a griot. A griot is actually a well-respected elder in Africa that has memorized from A to Z, basically, the heritage and history of different African cultures. Each individual tribe in Africa has their own unique griot. So because my business promotes literacy about African heritage, and the knowledge that I have researched, I have memorized my own self. The knowledge about African heritage that I promote through my business, I have memorized just as these griots have in Africa. I decided to call myself the Kid Griot.
Kalimah, 13 years old, tell us about this journey. Is there something that happened that caused you or gave you that aha moment to take you on this journey in terms of researching African culture and to build a business around that?
Well, part of my decision started with a research process, actually, and much determination to know that this would be the right business for me. It started with me identifying that I was experiencing a problem in which there were no fun, engaging, or colorful products that taught about African heritage. I actually decided to take action and find a solution to the problem I was experiencing rather than just complaining about the situation or just letting it go by the wayside.
Do you have a lot of entrepreneurs in your family?
I actually have a lineage of entrepreneurs in my family. It has evolved from my great-great-great-grandmother all the way down to me. So my great-great-grandmother, my great-grandmother, which her name, I don't remember my great-great-grandmother's name, but my great-great-grandmother's name was Grandma Gladys. And my grandmother's mother's name was Tomo. My grandmother, who just passed away recently, her name was Kalimah. My mom's name is Kalimah, and she's an entrepreneur. And I was named Kalimah in honor of my grandmother and my mother as well.
And our sincere sympathy and condolence for the passing of your grandmother.
Thank you so much for that.
So tell us about that process of creating your company.
It actually started with me identifying that there was a void in the market for materials that could aid me in a research project that I was conducting on the ancient empires of Ghana. I had to come up with a technique that would be enjoyable for me in a way that I could fill that void, but at the same time that the products that I would be displaying through my business would be enjoyable for my customers and in a way that they would appreciate those products that I was creating. It also came with lots of work because I had to conduct my business plan, of course, before starting my business. And I had to do cost analysis, the products and materials that I needed to create the products I'm offering. And as well, I had to conduct lots of research. Some of that research included the materials to create cost-effective products that my customers would appreciate and enjoy. And of course, before Dinkra Stylez became the thriving company it is today, I personally had to take some entrepreneurial workshops and courses that would help me to successfully start and run my business, enhance my knowledge on that process.
And where did you find all of these courses and resources to do that?
So it actually just started with a spark of interest that came from me and much commitment to want to do it. So I did multiple online researching, and I read lots of books, and I went through library resources, came from searching on social media, having resources given to me by friends, family, and other people who saw my interest. And then also the one that really stood out to me that helped me was entrepreneurial course for middle school and high schoolers called YEA Academy.
And what does YEA stands for?
It stands for the Young Entrepreneurs Academy.
And is it a nationwide? Very good.
It's nationwide.
Thank you for that.
Yes, it is.
So tell us about, how do you personally, Kalimah, define success?
Well, when I think of success, I think of short and long-term goals. Not all the time is success huge, like being on TV. It can be as simple as making a sale at an event one day and having worked hard to ensure that that sale would come about. For me personally, one short-term successful moment that has occurred in my business career was after several attempts of recreating the Dinkra symbols that I promote in my business, finally mastering that technique. And an example of a long-term successful goal that did manifest in my business was being offered a pop-up shop in Washington, D.C., and being featured on WUSA 9 News.
And so how long have you been in business, Kalimah?
I am going on the second month of my second year.
Excellent. Now, how do you manage school? Are you homeschooled? Are you traditional school? How does that work for you?
I am homeschooled, but when it comes to managing my homeschooling with my business and making time for my family and things of that nature, I create action plans every morning, listing all of my goals that I hope to accomplish every day. Those goals include my work goals, such as for my business, my homeschooling, and for any chores I may have or any other things of that nature. And then I also have my personal goals that I carve into the day, which include my free time and my interests, such as reading, making time to cook with my mom, or even just scheduling naps in for the day.
And so tell us, what is the biggest challenge of being a young entrepreneur?
Well, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, running your whole business is a challenge. Because just as the definition states, being an entrepreneur comes with much risk. But for me personally, I believe the one thing that is the most challenging is manufacturing my products, especially in large scales. In the future, I hope that Dinkra Stylez will have the opportunity to hire some help when I start making high enough profits. But for right now, I'm continuing my work, even with all the challenges, for passion and love of what I do.
And so when you do produce your products, are you producing them in the state or abroad?
I am producing my products right here in the USA, DMV area, with the help of my mom, and they are handcrafted and sculpted by me.
And so to date, you had mentioned about being on TV and being featured in Washington, D.C. Tell us another big achievement that you have had since being in business.
Well, in addition to being featured on WUSA 9 News, there has been two big, well-known achievements. The first one would be having been commissioned by the world-renowned Smithsonian's National Museum of African Art to conduct a workshop on how to make my African fabric bow ties. And in addition, I was accepted out of over 100 girls to come to Atlanta to participate in a pitch contest, and I made it up to the top 5, and by audience choice, I made it to the top 2.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't win, but I believe I did a good job.
Well, you did win because you're a winner because you continue to persevere. So you are a winner, and we are so proud of you.
Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. Kalimah, talk to your peers. They're listening to this broadcast. They're 13 years old, and they want to start a business. What advice would you give them in reference to starting a business, but they're fearful?
Well, I would say even if you are fearful, still pursue entrepreneurship if it's something that you want to do. Having a sense of fearfulness is really great when it comes to being an entrepreneur, considering all the risk that comes with doing it. There are many decisions that you will have to make when it comes to being an entrepreneur and through your entrepreneurial journey. So having a sense of fearfulness will help you to be conscious and follow your insights, which will always lead you to great success. But in addition, make sure that you don't let your fearfulness deter you from pursuing certain things, because you never know what opportunities may await you.
So how do you personally deal with being fearful, or are you fearful?
I don't really know during the times that I've been fearful, but I'm pretty sure that there has been many times that I may have not known that I was fearful, but I stuck to what I was doing and I was conscious and followed my insights. So that kind of helped me to get me out of certain situations in which I felt fearful about pursuing certain things. And also, I'm very grateful to have my mom by my side every step of the way. So she's always a big help.
So how does your mom help you manage your business and then manage her own business? That's a lot. How does she balance that?
To be honest, I would just say she's a great mom. That's how she does it. But I have no idea how she's able to do that. All I can say is that she's just an amazing mom.
That's beautiful. So what is one valuable lesson, Kalimah, that you wish you knew before starting your business?
Before starting my business, I wish I knew the importance of time management. Now that I'm beginning my second year in business, I have learned through my first year and still am implementing my time management more effectively. I did notice in some cases in my first year in business, it was difficult to manage certain areas in my business because I hadn't already kind of knew the importance of this valuable skill and lesson. And I did find at the times that I did implement time management that my work was a lot easier, and that I was even at certain times had extra time to do certain necessary things in managing my business.
What is a valuable lesson that came out for you going to the Youth Academy for Entrepreneurs? What's a valuable lesson, and why would you recommend someone else go through that academy?
Well, I would say a very valuable lesson I learned was that even though you're going through the process of entrepreneurship, you can never put yourself in danger or risk of, I would say, having too much freedom or either having too much desire to do what you think you can get away with, because eventually it always leads to failures. Sometimes when you don't put what's more important and necessary before even sometimes your business and your want to pursue your interest, it can lead you to deep failure. So I would say that always make sure that you put what's important first and never put yourself in danger or risk.
So Kalimah, who are your top 2 influencers in life? And what lessons do they teach you?
My top 2 influencers are, number 1, my mom, and second, my grandmother. They have both taught me many lessons in my childhood and as I am still progressing through childhood. My mother gave me my first hands-on experience of what an entrepreneur does at our local flea market at the age of 6 when I set up my very first lemonade stand. My grandmother has shared her experiences of considering being a serial entrepreneur with me and my cousins, and even allowed us to partake in her final business tremendously.
And what was her final business?
It was a snack shop that she ran, and basically my elder male cousins would answer the door to the snack shop. They would assist the customer, take down the orders, then bring it back. And sometimes me and my other cousin are the only two girls. We would do the preparation of gathering the snack and taking down the receipt sometimes, if should the customer want a receipt, and preparing the food and things of that nature. And then we call him the calculator of the family because he's pretty much a math genius prodigy. He would do all of the kind of CFO work of the business, and he would calculate the totals and the percentages and all of that stuff. So we were just like a real working business.
And a working family.
Yes, definitely.
And so out of all of your cousins and yourself, how many of you all other than yourself are entrepreneurs or going down that journey?
Two of us, actually three. It's me and then my two cousins recently. My elder cousin, his name is Khalil. He's my elder cousin, the eldest of all of us to be exact. And then my younger cousin, he is the second youngest out of all of us. His name is Jalil. They started their company, which is called Prince Products, and it is a company that is still in the works of being processed. They have attended a few vending shows with me. They have a few products, but it is not a business that is up and running just yet. But they have started their entrepreneurial journey of creating men's cosmetics.
Very good. So what's working well for you now, Kalimah, in your business?
I would say receiving opportunities and exposure to opportunities that are not experienced on a day-to-day basis. Again, I am very grateful to have my mom who pushes me to work hard to receive these amazing opportunities that come my way. And out of my whole entrepreneurial journey, there are many things that I'm very grateful to say have turned out working very well. But receiving opportunities from working hard is the thing that has turned out to work very well for me.
So talk about your marketing strategy. Are you using social media in terms of your marketing and branding?
I have been using Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as I have my own website. It's www.dinkrastylez, dinkrastylez.com.
So they could order directly from your site?
Yes.
Absolutely. And so which one of the social media platforms would you recommend that is giving you the greatest bang for your buck?
Instagram.
Now, do you have a huge following on Instagram?
Yes, I do.
And are you considered a celebrity?
Not yet, but a lot of people are aware of my business, that I am actually quite wowed at a lot of the things that I go to, just like maybe for just homeschool related, or maybe that I don't even know anyone there. Many of the people I come in contact with on a day-to-day basis have heard about my business, and the things I go to have nothing in relation to my business, or I would have never thought to meet anybody who had known about my business.
So how do you deal with being a hero and an influencer in your area?
Well, I look at that as a great thing. I look at that as a way of me I look at that as a way of me being someone there to help others who may need that kind of motivation to get up and do something great.
You know, Kalimah, this is really interesting. I am so inspired by your story, and I'll tell you why. Is because it's Black History Month, and we're doing this podcast interview 2018. And you are such an inspiration in reference to, they say that what I find is that we as African Americans, we don't really know our history, which is why a lot of times we repeat a lot of challenges or trauma in our community. So the fact that you are taking history, and I'm going to really be paying a lot of attention to what you're doing. I believe that greatness is even greater works is within you. And I believe that you are going to make a huge impact because you're impacting my life right now. And I believe the audience are going to be impacted by what you're doing. And for Black History Week, I'm in Las Vegas, and they were on the radio and they were talking about different things that was going on in the community. And they had various speakers that had come to do this week-long, kind of like it's not a program for Black History Month. And they were talking about African styles, and they were talking about just different fabrics, and they were talking about just where it's about Fashion Week, or in Paris is coming up. And we just came off of Fashion Week for New York. And it was just, from a historical standpoint, it was just amazing to learn where a lot of the styles that we are wearing today originated right from Africa, and how a lot of other cultures have kind of hijacked our culture. And for ourselves, lack of getting in there, looking at that knowledge, reading and studying it. And one of the things that is so profound, you could just hear it in your voice. And that's one of the things that I think that is going to set a lot of our young people free, in terms of the anxiety and not knowing who they are, is to really study their history, because you got to know that you come from kings and queens and a lot of prominence. And one of the things the lady had said on the radio, she said, even if you don't know your ancestors or know that they came from Africa, this was a brilliant idea. She said, do some research and find someone that inspires you and just say, that is my grandmother. And that's another way to create a story for others to have hope, in reference to not being stagnant and staying where they're at. So I said that to just say, I'm so proud of you, and you're such an inspiration.
Thank you so much.
You know what, Kalimah, if someone wrote a book about you today, what would we learn about you that we don't know?
Despite my articulateness that a lot of people say I have, despite my seriousness that people see me with, and how articulate I am and how focused in my business I am quite a goofball. I'm very silly, and I'm actually known as I wouldn't say a clown, because I don't consider myself a clown, but I would say that my family and friends really find me to be very funny.
Very comical. And that's good, because laughter is medicine. So that is great. And you had mentioned that you are a 13-year-old CEO and entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
Talk to an even younger Kalimah. What advice would you give to a younger Kalimah?
Well, I would say that she should start developing the skill of becoming proficient in time management. Ensuring that she develops this skill is not only important for entrepreneurship, but for life in general. I would like to give her 3 techniques that could hopefully help her to accomplish these things, accomplish this goal. That would be number 1, the first thing I would advise for her to do is to push herself to do what is difficult, so that the rest of her life will be easy. I would also push her to start creating goals for herself and actually working to accomplish those goals. And lastly, I would tell her to stay focused and not allow her failures to deter her from her future actions.
Kalimah, what's something difficult that you've done in life?
I would say something difficult that I have done, I think, would have been to actually start this business. Because even though I had a lineage of entrepreneurs in my family, I didn't really partake in entrepreneurship. I just had heard stories from my grandmother and my mother. But until I actually started my lemonade stand, and having taken like a 2 to 3 year break in between that and Dinkra Stylez, when I actually started, because I had gotten older, developing this business of entrepreneurship, even though I had verbally heard how to start a business and the experience from my elders, I had never actually had the hands-on experience. So starting this business would have been the most difficult thing, but it's very enjoyable.
So what is a technology tool or a technology platform that's a must-have for you in managing your business day to day?
That technical tool will be a smartphone. With a smartphone, I am able to conduct all of my necessary things in managing my business, such as updating and monitoring my social media platforms, monitoring my website by receiving email updates for online orders, and as well as making Square payments at my vending events, along with a whole bunch of other things that I'm able to do. But the most beneficial thing about having a smartphone is being able to check my email updates for amazing opportunities like this podcast.
Thank you. Let's kind of switch gears. What is the worst moment in business and what was your takeaway?
The worst moment in my business, I would say, was attending one of my vending events, which was an African drumming shop in Washington, D.C. Now, considering that my business has something to do with African heritage and the Dinkra symbols from the ancient empires of Ghana, and considering that that was an African drumming shop and the owners were from Ghana, and how everything just meshed in together with the African heritage aspect, I had expected it to go very well compared to my other events. But that didn't turn out to be the case. For the whole 6 hours I was there, it was very hot, number one. And then in addition, I was the only vendor who came out of the whole event. And by the end of the event, I had made only 2 sales, which was nowhere close to even making back my table fee. But considering the failure that came with that, I didn't take that failure as a way to drown into my despair. I took it as a way to see what could be done better in the future. It wasn't easy, as said, taking that failure and just moving on. But from being an entrepreneur, I have learned the importance of patience for tolerance, which is very essential to any entrepreneur who wants to be successful.
You talked about a little bit about finances with this challenge that you had, and thank you for being so transparent. That's what a lot of people want to know. Kalimah, how did you finance your business and how do you continue to finance and keep your business afloat?
So when I first started out, it was, again, all thanks to my mom, who, when I told her that this was something that I wanted to do, she was very much supportive, helping me in pursuing what I wanted to do. As I have progressed, though, my monies that I make from my business, most of them go back into my business. Even though I do split my profits into 3, most of that money does go back to the materials I need for creating my products, as well as keeping my business up and running.
So what are your goals for the future with your brand and your business?
My ultimate goal is to get my products readily available through online and retailing stores. But I also hope to expand my company beyond just a craft design firm. I hope to start conducting fun, engaging, interactive, hands-on workshops in which I will educate others about my knowledge of African heritage through research and study conducted from my business.
Do you see yourself going to college, or do you see yourself staying on the journey of entrepreneurship only?
I know I'm going to definitely go to college no matter what, but I am going to also continue my entrepreneurial journey at the same time.
Do you know what you want to major in?
I have a lot of things I would like to major in. I don't know for sure which one I'm going to actually pursue, but I'm going to start out by doing a little bit of every single one that I would like to do, and then finally finding which one makes me most happy and which one I'm most interested in, and pursuing those.
So, Kalimah, if you had to do it all over again, would you do the same business the same way in the same industry? And if yes, why?
I believe if I had to start my entrepreneurial journey all over again, I would continue Dinkra Stylez out of love and passion for what I do. But I would also like to explore some new businesses and industries because as a teenager, I have many interests and I would love to create businesses out of them to further enhance my experience with them, as well as I love coming up with new innovations and creations that could possibly solve a problem or make a difference. So with all the time that I possibly have in my childhood, I want to make sure that I am able to take advantage of that and actually pursue every single one of my interests if I can.
So, Kalimah, tell us the book that you'd recommend to our audience and why.
One of my favorite entrepreneurial book series that I would recommend is a series called Billy Shore, Kid Entrepreneur. This book is a real engager that teaches through a fiction narrative what it's like to be a young entrepreneur running a company. The main characters are Billy Shore, who is the CEO, and Manny Reeves, who is the CFO of an inventing company. And both of them are middle schoolers who are managing their business life with their personal life of family and school. At the same time, though, there is always some type of mystery or problem that is very exciting that needs to be solved as these boys work at managing their business and personal life. So this is a book series that I would definitely recommend.
Thank you for that. Kalimah, if you conducted this interview, what is the one question that you would have asked yourself? And I would like you also to answer that question.
Well, I would ask myself, do you feel that you made the right decision to pursue entrepreneurship? I would ask myself that question because many people go into entrepreneurship with a motive. Sometimes that could be for money. Other times it can be just a hobby or interest. And some people have other motivation. But the end goal can only be met if one is willing to work hard, stay committed, and display all the characteristics an entrepreneur needs to be successful. In taking time to actually think about this, it prevents one from going through undesired stress and failure. But for me personally, I know I made the right decision to pursue entrepreneurship.
We have a part, Kalimah, in our
Yes.
podcast where we call it the Fun Facts Lightning Round. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'd like you to give me very quick answers. And if you desire not to answer something, feel free to say pass. Are you ready for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
I am. Let's go.
All right. The last movie you saw?
The last movie I saw was Geostorm, and me and my mom are going to see the Black Panther soon, hopefully.
And you relaxed doing what?
Reading and laying on my bed.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Bob Marley and Michael Jackson.
Your favorite dance song?
Peanut butter jelly time.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
One food that I eat every week, no matter what, is salad. You may be thinking about a veggie salad. I do that as well, but there are a series of other salads that I create, such as fruit salads, bean salads, and even seafood salad. No, I'm just kidding about that last one, but I do like salad.
And your favorite month?
My favorite month is May.
So, Kalimah, share with our audience a parting piece of advice that you want to offer.
I would say strive to accomplish what is impossible. Nothing is really impossible. It's just a matter of what you're willing to push yourself to work for. There's actually a saying that conveys a very powerful message that I would like to leave you with. It says that if you are willing to preoccupy your time with what is difficult and hard, then everything else will be easy for you. But if you only concern your time with what is easy and convenient, all your afterwards work will be hard.
I love that. Such wisdom. Kalimah, share with our audience what is the best way for our audience to connect with you and support your business.
They can reach me through my email. Feel free to ask me any questions if you have felt inspired. My email is going to be dinkrastylez@gmail.com, and that is spelled DIN, and these should all be lowercase, by the way. So it's going to be DINKRASTYLEZ@gmail.com.
Very good. No, give us your website.
Oh, the website is going to be www.dinkrastylez dinkrastylez.com.
And what about your social media handles?
All of my social media handles are the same. It's just that you have to change it either to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, but it's at DINKRASTYLE and 2 Z's. So it's ZZ.
Kalimah, thank you so much for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience.
Thank you.
Absolutely, where we shine the light on the most successful Black entrepreneurs across the globe. And our tagline is what happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards, and we just had Kalimah McKeaver with us, who is just a dynamite young entrepreneur. So thank you so much, Kalimah, for spending time with us on Black Entrepreneur Experience. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.